Hey there folks, welcome to the channel. I'm glad you can make it. Today's sausage is an experimental sausage. I wanted to end the show with something a little different, kind of playing on yesterday's episode, the maple chicken and apple sausage. We're gonna be making the pumpkin spice sausage. This is gonna be an incredibly easy sausage to make. It's a fresh sausage and it's perfect for anyone no matter where you're at in this craft. Heck, you could probably just go buy ground pork at the store and be able to make the pumpkin spice sausage. A quick word of reminder for those of you that are just joining the show, we've got a couple product giveaways that are happening today and tomorrow, and it's not too late to enter. If you want to enter the Sausage Maker's Dream Come True bundle, where you get a chance to win a 25-pound sausage stuffer made in the USA by the Sausage Maker, head back over to episode 16. That's the chili crisp sausage. You'll find all the information that you need to know about how to enter. We're also giving away a smoker from Smokin' It Smoker. That's the model 3.5 Professional Series Convection Smoker, incredible smoker. Head back over to episode 19. That's the Taylor Ham episode. You'll find all the details in that episode on how to enter. All right, let's make the pumpkin spice sausage.
We need to get our pumpkin ready. Where I live, this is called zapallo. Where you live, it may be called something different. Whatever pumpkin you can get your hands on will work for this recipe. We need to take this and get it ready for our sausage. And how we're going to process this pumpkin is to simply roast it. So I'm going to put it on a baking pan. You do want to have like parchment paper or some kind of like a silpat underneath it, because if it does open up during the roasting process, it can create a bit of a mess. We want to cook this until I can insert a butter knife into it with no problem. And so 450 degrees until it is ultra tender. This is what it's going to look like now that it's finished. And you can see right here, very, very soft. This is perfect. With the back of a spoon, we're going to insert it into the pumpkin just so you can see how tender it needs to be. And there we go. No problem. All right, now you can prepare pumpkin for this sausage any number of ways. In our particular recipe, we're going to be using the puree from roasted pumpkin, but if you wanted to dice it up, you know, maybe bake it and have diced pieces of pumpkin in your sausage, you could totally do that. The choice is yours. But today we're going to be using the puree, so I'm going to remove all the skin. Once we have the skin removed, we're just going to open up the pumpkin and then remove the seeds. Now, if you haven't already noticed, I'm working with this pumpkin immediately after it came out of a very hot oven, and it is pretty warm, so you might want to let yours cool down just a tiny little bit before you start really getting into it. But personally speaking, I find that it's easier to process when it's hot. Okay, there's our seeds, and what we now have in front of us is 100% usable. So we're going to take all of that, transfer it to a bowl, and then stick it into our blender, because our zapallo is ready for the final stage of processing, and that's just to blend it into a puree, which is going to look like this. This is 100% puree from the pumpkin we just processed. I know some people like to add water or cream or whatever to their puree. In this case, it is simply pumpkin, and it's going to be great for this recipe. Now, if you wanted to go to the store and get yourself a can of pumpkin pie mix, you could probably use that, and I imagine that would taste pretty good as well, but we're doing it from scratch. This is going to be a 100% pork sausage. We're going to be using pork shoulder, aka Boston butt, and we're going to be adding a little pork back fat. So I typically like to add fat separately, but if you have a fatty pork shoulder, you know, you could generally just use that. And what we're looking for is a 70-30 combination, 70% lean, 30% fat. I'm cutting the fat up into small pieces so that they not only fit into the grinder easily, but they also grind well. I find that when you cut the fat up into smaller pieces, it tends to grind a little bit better. And then I'm going to do the same thing with the pork shoulder. Now, you don't have to use pork shoulder. If you found something on sale, like some pork loin, some belly, whatever, it doesn't matter what cut you use. Just make sure you have a good 70-30 mix. This is going to go into the freezer to chill while we look at our spices. Pumpkin spice, that's what we're going after for this recipe. And here is the pumpkin puree that we just made, 100% pumpkin, nothing else added. As far as the spices go, we are going to add a little salt, some white pepper, dark brown sugar, and some potato starch. This is an optional ingredient. It will help with the texture, and if you have a favorite binder, use that. This spice roll here is going to accent our pork sausage and complement the pumpkin. This ingredient here is cinnamon, beautiful ingredient. We also have ginger, nutmeg, and then to top it off, we have a little clove powder. Nothing overwhelming. Another optional ingredient is vanilla. I did want to see what a tiny bit of vanilla would do to this recipe, so we're going to be adding a 1/4 teaspoon per kilo, and then to finish it off, we've got a little heavy cream. And that's what our spice profile is going to look like. At this point, our meat is now properly frozen. Everything is under 34 degrees Fahrenheit. Looks absolutely perfect. Let's grind this on a 6mm plate. Very nice looking grind using the number 12 Pro model from the sausage maker.
Before we mix our meat, let's do a quick product giveaway here in the final episode. If you've been keeping up with the show, you'll know that we've been giving away some of these grinder plate and knife sharpening kits from Jende Industries. It's actually a lapping plate. The etched side is used to flatten whetstones, but the opposite side is completely flat. If you try to sharpen your grinder equipment on just any surface and you're not entirely sure if it's verifiably flat, you will inevitably create more problems. And so what this lapping plate does is it guarantees a perfectly flat surface. All you got to do is throw in some wet dry sandpaper and then sharpen your equipment. I'll put a video suggestion right about here so that you can see how I do it. And I'll put a link to Jende Industries in the description box below in case you want to check out their site for sharpening supplies, guided sharpening systems, whetstones, things like that. They're a company dedicated to keeping your equipment sharp, and they've got everything that you need to do it. So let's give one of these away. How do you enter? Super easy. Be a subscriber to the channel. So hit that subscribe button and that notification bell. Give this video a thumbs up and share this video on whatever social media platforms you belong to. Drop me a comment and let me know why you would like to win the grinder knife and plate sharpening kit by Jende Industries. One lucky comment will be selected tonight at midnight. I hope it's yours. All the details for this giveaway can be found in the description box below.
Let's get everything mixed up. Now, all I did was combine the spices into one cup, the vanilla cream and pumpkin into another cup, and we're going to mix those in here in just a second. Speaking of mixing, when you go to mix your sausage, and it doesn't matter the method you use to mix it, make sure that it's at least 34 degrees Fahrenheit. You don't want it partially frozen, but you do want it super cold. Let's add our pumpkin spice mix to the sausage. Give it a little mix, and then add our pumpkin puree. And like I said, this pumpkin puree at this point has the cream and the vanilla from the recipe already mixed into it. And it looks like I have to stop the mixer to get this going. All right, at this point, all of our ingredients are in that sausage meat, and we're just gonna mix this until that ground meat transforms into a sticky farce. I should be able to grab a handful, turn my hand upside down, and it'll stick to the underside of my hand. And with a KitchenAid mixer, it usually takes about 90 seconds. It doesn't take very long, but look at that. Wow, that is very sticky. Loving the particle definition. Let's flip it up. All right. No problem there. Okay, no problem. We are done. We've got great protein extraction. Our meat batter is very sticky. That means we're going to get a great bind when we make our sausage. And at this point, you are finished. Now, if you want to take this and put it into a casing, have at it. Cheap casing would be kind of cool, little pumpkin sticks. I am not going to put this into a casing. This is going to be a very fresh sausage, kind of in the style of a breakfast sausage. So we're going to leave it exactly like that. Matter of fact, I'm just going to take a tiny little handful, maybe form some sausage links and fry them up here on the skillet, and then we'll give them a taste. Let's do it.
The pumpkin spice sausage, a very seasonal, very festive sausage. And I gotta admit, everyone that I talked to regarding the concept of this particular sausage, the reaction was the same. They were like, don't make it, gross, I can't see that working, don't ask me to try it. But I'm kind of pleased with the way that it turned out. The entire process smelled like an amazing pumpkin pie. And even now, the cooked version, it smells like a pumpkin pie. I'm not even kidding. It's crazy. I chose to make breakfast links out of them. You can do patties. You can put it into a casing, sheep casing. It really doesn't matter. This is a fresh sausage. It's an incredibly easy sausage to make, and you can really kind of do whatever you want when it comes to packaging. You could keep it as simple or as complex as you like. I'm loving the particle definition between the meat and the fat. So we did that 6mm grind. If you don't want the fat to be so prevalent, you can grind it a little bit smaller, maybe 4.5mm, and it'll be amazing. Slightly different texture, but probably still be super good. Very juicy. Loving the way that came out. Just overall, it looks like a great little breakfast link. Let's give it a bite. That is so different. My brain's trying to process all these flavors. and I kind of like it. It's definitely not a sweet sausage, so some might think, hey, pumpkin spice sausage, not a sweet sausage. You could totally make it sweet. You could add maple syrup or honey, increase the amount of brown sugar, and it could be a little more on the sweet side. This is still a very savory sausage with a enhanced roasted pumpkin flavor. There's no doubt about it. That pumpkin is coming in beautifully. And then obviously because of the spices that we chose to add, you are picking up that pumpkin spice element. And then when you eat the sausage, you still pick up those seasonal flavors, but in like the weirdest way, it totally works. The sausage is incredibly juicy, beautiful texture. I am a big fan of that 6mm grind, and so I love the mouthfeel that it gets. But like I said, if you want to go a little bit finer, if you want to do a little more coarse, it's really a personal preference. Bind is incredible. Nice bounciness to the sausage, but that's really more about the technique that we use to make the sausage and not so much the spice profile itself. I will put a recipe link for this pumpkin spice sausage in the description box below, and if you have the means to make it, give it a go. It is a wildly different sausage, but don't get crazy with the recipe, right? Unless you absolutely love pumpkin spice in every possible version you can get it. In that case, maybe you're the exception. Just make a small amount, give it a little taste. If you happen to make it, I'd love to hear your thoughts in the comment section below. It's kind of a wild, totally different, unique sausage. I mean, I could see eating this with a little maple syrup, some, pumpkin waffles, and maybe even some eggnog. Like, I think all of those flavors would go really, really well together. We are officially wrapping up Celebrate Sausage Season 5. Big thanks to everyone who commented on the videos. Hit that like button, and then, of course, subscribe to the channel. We've got some incredible sausage-related, charcuterie-related content coming soon. It's going to be absolutely amazing. A special thanks goes out to everyone who participated in this year's show. Be sure to check the description box below. I'm going to put a link to all their channels. Check them out, show them some love. They all have their own unique and amazing content. And of course, most importantly, I cannot forget about the patrons of the channel. You guys are the producers of the show. We had some incredible recipes submitted by our patrons. Absolutely amazing. And if you're over there wondering, how in the heck can I become a producer of the Two Guys in a Cooler channel? Check the description box below. I'll put some information in there as well. Not only do you get personal access to me, but you also get really amazing discounts from companies that you're more than likely already buying from. All right, guys, I think that about wraps it up. And let me know in the comment section below which was your favorite sausage from this year's show. And if you haven't seen them all yet, I'm going to put a playlist right about here. Go back to the very beginning, watch them all, and then let me know which one you think you're going to want to make first. If you would like to see a season 6. Woo! I can't even believe we're talking about season 6. But if you would like to see a season 6, make sure you leave this video a comment and give this video a thumbs up. Because if you guys want it, we shall make it happen. In tomorrow's episode, that's right, we've got a bonus episode for you tomorrow. I'm going to be doing my top 5 favorite sausages from Celebrate Sausage Season 5. I hope to catch you there. Thanks a lot for being here. We'll see you tomorrow. Bye-bye. Pumpkin spice. It's kind of good.